Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about the Raspberry Pi processor. It is a series of small single board computers developed in United Kingdom by the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and we are going to see the full details and the history of Raspberry Pi processor. Before going to see that, I kindly request everyone to kindly subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Come, let's get into the video. As stated earlier, the Raspberry Pi processor is the third most and best selling computers in the world. Several generations of Raspberry Pi processor has been released for the sophistication of our life. The Raspberry Pi processor is a small credit card based system. This credit card sized computer that plugs into your TV or a display, or it may be a keyboard, and the Raspberry Pi processor has been promoted for teaching the basic knowledge in computer science in schools and in developing countries. After the invention of this Raspberry Pi processor leads to enormous applications in our human's life. In general, it is used to build electronic projects, and as stated earlier, this Raspberry Pi processor has been used to teach in computer science in the schools and for many of the things that our desktop PC does, like spreadsheets, word processing, browsing the internet, and playing games. Also plays high definition video. All this can be performed by using this Raspberry Pi processor. Even now, the Raspberry Pi processor has been used to build in robotics field. Hence, it gives a lot of applications. Now, let us see the origin of a Raspberry Pi processor. In the year 2015, February, the Raspberry Pi 2 Model B, the second generation of the Raspberry Pi processor, and it is shared along with the next generation, that is Raspberry Pi B plus. That is, it works with 900 megahertz ARM Cortex quad core technology, and this Raspberry Pi B model and B plus model works with 1 GB of RAM. This Raspberry Pi 2 Model B and 1B Plus has a S7 CPU with 1 GB RAM. So the speed has been very low as compared with as of now. With the 1 GB RAM size in that CPU, the process is very low, and in order to make the processing speed higher, the next model, that is Raspberry Pi 3 model, has been found, and it has a higher operating frequency than that of the Raspberry Pi 2 model and as well as B plus. And the Pi 3 model was launched in the year 2018 March. As stated earlier, it uses 1.4 GHz 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex A53 CPU, and it has 1 GB RAMs and a gigabit Ethernet. This Raspberry Pi 3 Model B Plus supports integrated 802.11 AC, which is an wireless local area network, and it supports a Bluetooth for the version of 4.2. The Raspberry Pi 4 model was launched in the year 2019, and it supports 1.5 GHz and 64-bit quad core processor, that is ARM Cortex processor. It has a CPU of A72 CPU, and the memory size as 3 RAM sizes or options, available with 2 GB, 4 GB, and 8 GB. It supports gigabit Ethernet and the wireless LAN, also the Bluetooth version of 5.0. One thing can be clearly understood that so far what the Raspberry Pi processor has been invented, all these are not sufficient to have a good betterment of life. Hence, they went with Raspberry Pi 400, in which it supports 1.8 GHz frequency, and it was invented in the year 2020 November. This Raspberry Pi 400 also supports 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex A72 CPU with 4 GB of RAM size, also supports gigabit Ethernet, integrated 802.11 AC, that is wireless LAN, and it supports a Bluetooth version of 5.0. With this, we came to an end of this video. And this video we seen the various Raspberry Pi processor that has been invented and how it evolved or how it performs, that is the RAM size and also the Bluetooth support and also the wireless LAN. If you have any comments, please do comments in our comment section. Thank you.